Oh hey, it's Barry. And if you watch Nintendo YouTubers right now, they'll tell you one of two things. Either Switch 2 is on the way, or there's gonna be an April Direct coming for Nintendo, dropping a whole bunch of new games, things that are unseen, and I personally didn't think April Nintendo Direct would be happening. There was news from people in the news space saying that, yeah, there's gonna definitely be an April Direct. Get your hopes up. It's gonna be amazing. It's going to be the best Direct to date. And honestly, the news that we have today seems like it's going against that. There are still a bunch of signs saying that the Nintendo Switch 2 was supposed to drop this year, but Nintendo delayed it for whatever reasons, as there is a bunch of things pointing towards that. We'll talk about that a bit later. But before we get into it, I just really appreciate it if you guys could smash that like button and hit that subscribe bell. Zomberry Games, I'm trying to get this channel up there. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So of course, there was an insider that shared some bad news for Nintendo fans. That's the headline of the article. And of course, it says an insider who previously broke one major Switch 2 story shares some bad news for Nintendo fans by walking back one of their recent leaks. And of course, this is kind of bad as his information has been already spread and propagated by a bunch of different YouTubers, analysts, a bunch of different news articles were written about his information and stuff, so people believe it and already see it as fact. But the rumored April 2024 Nintendo Direct may not be happening after all. The news, which was likely to disappoint some Nintendo fans, comes from the same insider who originally reported on the possibility of Nintendo doing an early spring game showcase. The source in question is journalist Pedro Henrique, also known by his online moniker Brazil. Back in mid-February, Lipe had a major scoop that Nintendo internally delayed the Switch 2 till 2025. The claim was subsequently independently corroborated by several media outlets, and shortly thereafter, he reported that he heard some talk of another Nintendo Direct being planned for 2024. He said that in April 2024, Nintendo will be having a Nintendo Direct, and basically said the broadcast was gearing towards showcasing Nintendo's first-party games, but in a recent follow-up posted on Famaboards, Lipe said he no longer believes the April 2024 Nintendo Direct is happening. He came upon the conclusion after most of his sources stopped hearing any rumblings about an early spring showcase almost as soon as he first reported on them, prompting him to suspect that his info was outdated from the beginning. And of course, he was on cloud 9, as he said, on the week that he posted these. He said, "Hey everyone, didn't want to leave you hanging for an entire month. So here I am. You'll remember that the info I had back during the Switch 2 delay week was that we'd have a Direct in April and an Indie World presentation prior to that. I had those talks a couple days after the Switch 2 discussions, but I now believe that the event info itself was already outdated at that point. I no longer believe we'll get a Direct this month. Apart from one person who heard some rumblings 2 weeks ago, no one else seems to have heard anything about an April Direct since then, which they probably would have at this point. One source in particular says he's expecting it to happen around the obvious Summer Games Fest timeframe, so late May, early June. Maybe even this is wrong, but we will get a PlayStation Xbox event in that time frame at least, for sure. However, this just seems like it's kind of bad. He brought out this information saying we're gonna get a huge April 2024 release, new Nintendo Direct, a bunch of new games, and I saw the headlines and stuff, but I didn't report on it because I felt like it wasn't too legit. I like to at least try to post things that I think are real or try to make sure it's real before I post it. But damn, it seems that a bunch of people ran with this information, and now he's walking it back, saying that all the sources that he talked to in the first place not getting that information anymore, saying that it's kind of outdated, it's old news, they moved on to new things. But it isn't all doom and gloom, as the event is still happening, just at a later date. And of course the Nintendo Switch 2 is planned to be releasing next year, March 2025. That's the expected release date that we have in the works right. But the Switch 2 was supposedly supposed to drop this year, and there are signs that point to it, like the rollout for these things, the new games that we are getting this year. We literally don't know what's coming after June, and that is kind of suspicious, as Nintendo does let us know at least what's happening a bit before it comes. But it seems like they're moving a little secretive. Kind of weird. The whole 2024 is kind of weird for gaming, I'd say. Just how the overall vibe and the feeling of it. However, the later release date would give developers time to finish launch titles. One that could possibly be Metroid Prime 4, which was announced back in 2017. So that game's been getting worked on. Metroid Prime 4 had its development rebooted in 2019. And we haven't been given an update on this game ever since. So, giving these developers more time to work on these titles for everything to be perfect for the launch of Nintendo Switch 2 does seem like a great idea. But of course, guys, let me know what you think about all this down in the comments below. It's been Barry Games. Thank you so much for watching the video to this point. I really appreciate you being here. I read all of my comments, and I would really appreciate it if you could smash that like button and hit that subscribe bell. And of course, have a great day.